What is karma?
Take 3.5 minutes for that one.
Karma in one instance, it means action. And then there's another instance, the law of karma. Karma yoga means connecting with God by performing our actions according to our nature in a dutiful way in harmony with spiritual principles of ethics, morality, and devotion. That's karma yoga. The law of karma is a universal law, like the law of gravity. What goes up must come down. Whether you believe it or not, it's going to happen. In the Bible, it is said, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. That's a law of nature. Or as they say in the streets of New York, what goes around comes around. So the law of karma teaches the spirit that we as human beings are responsible for whatever we do and whatever we speak. We're especially responsible by how we treat others, how we treat other human beings, how we treat other beings of other species, and how we treat the environment. We have a responsibility. And according to each and every word and act, there will be a corresponding reaction that comes in our own life. And karma is both individual and collective.
Which takes us back to this idea, in Bhakti Yoga, you are cultivating love. You cultivate as much love as you can in yourself, in the world, and so therefore your life becomes, if you will, this massive garden of love. And yet that's not the way we live our lives. Not here in New York, and frankly, not here in the world. It seems, in spite of the overwhelming, powerful draw that we have to love and be loved, we hand ourselves over to something very different. And I know this is something, Heather, that you've been particularly interested in, that inner struggle. And I'll leave you to speak to it and ask the question, but I think it's important.
What goes around comes around. A lot of what I hear, especially now with the news and everything else going on, is this fear. There's a lot of fear. And more growing fear, and more of it's being fed by the media and things that are going on with climate change and the environment. And what's even more frightening, if I look at it as karma and I'm creating this for myself, is even more frightening. So chat a little bit about fear and how Bhakti Yoga addresses fear and works with fear.
We really have the opportunity to learn to see everything in this world from a positive perspective of how we can make a positive difference and how we could grow. The idea of karma is not just to make us guilty, it's to inspire us to take responsibility. And when we take responsibility, we could actually grow. We could actually make positive change in our own lives and in the world. So fear is due to a disconnection from that light that is within us. It's like, what is darkness? Darkness really is not its own substance. It's the absence of light. Light is substance. And if you look toward the sun, you see light, and if you look away from the sun, you see a shadow. So, avidya, which is a Sanskrit word which means disconnection or ignorance, means that this darkness or this fear comes when we are disconnected from the light of our true self and the light of God's love, which is actually everywhere. And when we understand that the soul is beyond death, the soul is eternal. The difference between a living body and a dead body is that soul is no longer there in a dead body. When the soul is there, you know, our whole life, the body lights up. So, nahanya de hanya mane saride, the basic cause of fear is inevitable death. And fear is due to the apprehension of suffering. When we gradually come in contact with the peace, the happiness, the light that's within ourselves, then we actually become free from fear. There's no material solution to fear. When we're enlightened, when we're turning away from the darkness of forgetfulness of who we are, when we understand that God is ever present, even if this body falls, which eventually it will, we have complete trust and faith. And not only that, we have the potential to have direct experience of our eternal relationship with God, of God's eternal love for us. Then we actually become free from fear.
So cultivate that inner light.
To the degree we're living in a mood of disconnection from our own nature, then there's inevitably going to be fear.
I think it's in your book, The Journey Within. You give this magnificent story or analogy. You talk about us having two dogs, in a sense, inside us, right? This is the myth. One dog is this beautiful, loving, gentle soul, and the other is this monstrous, hungry animal. And in a sense, what you say is, Bhakti Yoga is cultivating that gentle, loving dog, right? Yet, and the more you do that, that dog gets power, and the other dog, in a sense, although you never say this in the book, which I think is interesting, this is me assuming that other dog dies. Carl Jung would say that's not what happens. Carl Jung and many, many, many today would say what happens is that dog that you don't feed, the aggressive dog, the shadow dog, goes and sits inside a cave somewhere and becomes the shadow. And just when you least expect it, when that hungry, rabid dog finally sees something he or she can feed on, they come out and they lurch. And hence, all of the scandals that you see in religious and spiritual organizations, and all the horrors you see in our life, because the shadow is always there. It never dies. You don't believe that. You think that shadow is, in a sense, our own illusion. That shadow can be transcended. The shadow can die. Or am I wrong?
That shadow is a product of ahankar, or the false ego. The real ego is I'm an eternal loving servant of the Supreme Person. That's the real ego. And the false ego is I'm the enjoyer, I'm the controller, and I'm the proprietor. And there are so many different ways of experiencing life in between those two. So it is true, until we actually reach that highly enlightened state, we are vulnerable for that bad dog to come back and redirect us, confuse us with greed, anger, arrogance, envy, selfishness. These are the qualities of that darkness. So that is a reason why it's so important when we're on a spiritual path to always remember what our goal is. Because there will be endless distractions, both from within ourselves and all around us. And sometimes I'm in a car and there's a GPS. When you type in the address you're trying to reach, like if you type in the United Palace on Broadway in New York City, then it will, I know this is what happened when I came here today. In 500 yards, turn right. Yes. At the end of this block, turn right. In 50 feet, turn right. Turn right. And then you keep going. Yes, because you're distracted, or because somebody is blocking the way to turn right. And then you hear the voice say, recalibrating. So first of all, if you want the GPS to work properly, you have to type in the right destination. So what is the actual goal of religion? The goal of religion is not to become wealthy or powerful. It's to become, the goal of religion is transformation. The meek shall inherit the earth, not the arrogant. To transform arrogance into humility, greed into generosity, complacency into compassion, hate into love, turbulence of the mind to peace of mind. This is the purpose of religion. This is the goal. To actually live in harmony with the sweet will of the Supreme.
So in a sense, that God doesn't die.
What happens in religion, all too often, is we forget the actual goal. We get caught up in all kinds of politics. We get caught up in our own ego. And instead of becoming detached and selfless, we become attached and selfish. What is the Bible says, judge not lest ye be judged. But when we start learning all kinds of philosophies, then we think, and we have followers and influence, then we think, now I'm the judge. That means we're simply being distracted. That's the bad dog.
Right.
Because you see, the bad dog can put on a disguise to look just like the good dog. And we actually think we're feeding the good dog, but we're feeding the bad dog. So for that reason, we need association of people, of sincere people who can, help us to remain focused, to keep our GPS. And whenever we make a mistake or we're distracted, we recalibrate and go forward. So yes, that bad dog remains. It remains in a dormant state, but it could come out any time until we actually reach that truly enlightened state.
Fascinating. Thank you.
And
But until then, it's very important that we must be diligent. We must be careful. We have to have, good company to keep us strong. In our tradition, we have 4 principles that we hold very sacred. One is satsang. Satsang means to associate with people who enlighten us, who are like-minded and help, just like in the Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, people come together because they know their weaknesses. They know those bad dogs are there, and they help each other to remain focused on where they really want to go. So spirituality is really, it's necessary to associate with saintly people or people who are striving to be saintly, to keep us in the right direction. The second is sadhana. That when we have faith that there is a higher purpose, then we put some quality time aside every day to cultivate our own internal spirituality. Just like in order to be strong in our work or in our domestic duties, we have to sleep and we have to eat. Spiritually, we need to feed our spirit too. And that comes through a spiritual practice, through our prayers. The purpose of all rituals, when we don't just get caught up with the ritual itself, if we understand its purpose, it's a meditation. It's a meditation on serving the divine and offering ourselves in a spirit of loving surrender to the divine. And especially in our tradition, chanting God's names is a way we can purify ourselves and remain connected in the grace of God. So to put some time aside every day to cultivate our spirituality through our meditational processes is very important. And then sadachar, with the association we keep that directs us in an enlightening way, with the spiritual practice to actually give us strength, then we go into the world and we choose to live with character. We choose to live with integrity. We choose to live in such a way that we're in harmony with our purpose in our life. Temptations will come, but we will not compromise our sacred ideals, even when we can get so much more by compromising. Or even in the fear that we'll lose so much. If we don't compromise, we embrace our ideals. And that is a fulfilling, meaningful, and spiritual life, to live with character. And that's the greatest need in the world. In today's world, people are duped with all these misconceptions. What is the use of a great economy if people are greedy and hateful and immoral? You know, the economy will naturally be better if people live with character and compassion. So each and every one of us to take a responsibility, either in a big way or in a little way, to be a leader with integrity and character. Because it's the most important thing for human society, is the values that we inculcate within ourselves and the values that we leave as a legacy for our children and future generations. And when we have that association, satsang, spiritual practice, sadhana, and it gives us the strength to live with values, character, sadachar, then seva. Then we realize the greatest joy of life is to serve with love in whatever we're doing. Whether we're a politician, whether we're a Swami or a reverend, whether we're teachers or industrialists, engineers, farmers, mothers, fathers, whatever our particular role in society is, the joy is to perform our duties in a mood of service to God and service to others. That's where joy is. That's where happiness is. That's where light is.